Good morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ and welcome back to another detailed forecast update, this one for November 15th, 2024. Today we're going to recap on those severe thunderstorms that blew through across southeastern and parts of central Queensland yesterday. We'll also talk about some very heavy rainfall that's expected to develop across parts of central and far northern Queensland. We've got a tropical cyclone as well to take a look at, and we're also going to be talking about the severe thunderstorms extending across parts of WA, and we'll take a look at a general heat and weather forecast across interior parts of the nation as well. So a lot to get through. If you haven't already, then please consider subscribing. The support lately has been much appreciated. But beginning this video over in the southeast of Queensland, where you can see some very good thunderstorms were making themselves at home yesterday afternoon, especially across parts of central Queensland and also into the southeast of Queensland. Down around the Hines Dam area and Warragamba Dam south of there, we had a good cell blow up at around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. That brought some heavy falls outside of the Brisbane area, especially into the northeastern, the northwestern suburbs of Brisbane, then moving up into the Sunshine Coast and bringing some heavy showers outside of Maroochydore and Noosa, where peak rainfall accumulations towards 70 millimetres last night. Some good rainfall as well outside the Mount Perry and Gympie area. Gympie itself actually received its best rainfall in a couple of weeks now, 34 millimetres. It tells you how desperate they are for rainfall, even though they've been the mix of a bunch of powerful thunderstorms over the last couple of days. Also some good rainfall extending further up the coastline. Rockhampton had a good couple of showers as well. Ogmore also had a few good showers as well, some good rumbles of thunder up there, and even a thunderstorm outside of Moranbah and Glendon further north up towards Mackay, which missed out on the rainfall unfortunately, but still some showers and storms that made themselves apparent up there. Agnes Water missed out, and same deal with Bundaberg, but they should get some rainfall over the coming couple of days, so let's dig straight into that in just a few minutes. Before that, we'll take a look at the thunderstorm outlook for today and just throughout the rest of the week across parts of southeastern Queensland. So today we are expecting showers and storms to develop once again, most likely around the central Sunshine Coastline and then further inland towards Kingaroy and Gympie, and then even further north out towards Guyanda and Mount Perry. We'll also see some showers and storms extending further up the coastline around the Bundaberg and Agnes Water area and potentially making it as far out as Rockhampton. Billawheeler should also get a few showers and storms this afternoon too, and from around 3 p.m. we'll see potentially severe thunderstorms develop around the Roma in June and then out towards the Charleville area. Just in this little pocket here along the dry line, we'll likely see some potentially severe thunderstorms develop, and some of them could be quite nasty indeed, with large hailstones, heavy rainfall and damaging winds. The storm modes tonight are going to be pulse systems. They're going to be slow moving, pretty much stagnant for the most part, at least earlier on in the afternoon before they get a little bit of motion going later on in the evening, and that's when the damaging wind and heavy rainfall threat does begin to increase and the hailstone threat begins to decrease, but heavy to locally torrential rainfall expected around the Roma and Charleville area. Again, this is from pulse thunderstorms, so it's impossible to predict exactly when, where and how much rainfall is expected for these locations. However, if I was to make a guess, up to 70 or 80 millimetres is on the cards around the Roma and Charleville area later on tonight if they're around these pulse thunderstorms. That's not to say that a lot of locations are going to get up to 80 millimetres of rainfall at this time. The majority of locations are going to miss out, but the places that do get the rainfall will get a lot of rainfall, that's for sure. Showers and thunderstorms extending across the border into the northeastern corner of New South Wales as well. Down around the Inverell and Armidale area, we could see some potentially severe thunderstorms as well, and then further out towards Moree and Lightning Ridge later on in the evening at around 7 or 8 p.m. when those squall lines start to develop further north into Queensland. We'll also likely see some severe thunderstorms down there, and potentially severe thunderstorms also possible later on in the evening, like I just said, up towards Rolleston and Emerald, most likely for that damaging wind and potentially heavy rainfall threat. We will likely see some stronger thunderstorms later tonight as well, embedded in those squall lines. For Brisbane and the Gold Coast, especially for the Gold Coast, where the thunderstorm displays have been pretty average over the last couple of days actually. Around the Brisbane area, nothing really crazy expected. A couple of showers and storms possible later on this afternoon and evening, but around the Gold Coast, pretty much nothing is expected there, and all these showers and storms should clear out of the southeastern corner of Queensland by around midnight or so, maybe a little bit later than that. Severe thunderstorms still expected to continue right throughout the night around the Emerald and the Dingo area before easing off by sunrise. Showers and storms also making themselves known around the Saturday morning time spot as well, from Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. Showers and storms blowing up into the central coastline region of Queensland, up into the Capricorn district. A few showers possible for Ogmore and Rockhampton, and potentially 20 millimetres of rainfall for all 5 of the major population centres along the Capricorn district, including Ogmore, Rockhampton, Gladstone, Agnes Water and Bundaberg. So some good rainfall looks possible out there. Some good rainfall also possible, but unlikely around the Charleville and Tambo area Saturday night with some potentially severe thunderstorms. Now, Sunday we've been talking about this for the last couple of days, but it doesn't look like those severe thunderstorms are going to make themselves present, not at least in the south central parts of Queensland. Severe thunderstorms look likely on Sunday afternoon across New South Wales, but it's going to be Monday afternoon where those thunderstorms really do blow up. But that's a story for another forecast update. But the heads up here is that once again Monday expected to be a bit of a storm day into interior parts of Queensland. Same deal for Tuesday and Wednesday, but at this time the forecast does look still a little bit murky regarding Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday in terms of thunderstorms across Queensland and parts of New South Wales. So that is going to be a story for tomorrow's forecast update because we have a lot to get through in central Queensland. Let's switch over there right now. So central Queensland, from the early parts of next week, we're going to see some rainfall begin to develop from Tuesday afternoon. Then into Wednesday morning, the rainfall will really start to pile on across parts of the central Queensland coastline. For Wednesday and Thursday, the showers and storms are going to be concentrated north of Mackay up to Cairns, where at least 30mm is expected on both Wednesday and Thursday for certain coastal locations, especially around the Ingham and Cardwell area, just based off their geography and how much rainfall they do typically get. Showers will also pile on around the Mackay area from about Friday. We'll likely see some good falls up there. We'll also see some good rainfall extending down the coastline, much needed rainfall for Ogmore and Rockhampton. Agnes Water and Bundaberg should get a couple of showers, but for the most part they're unfortunately going to miss out for the majority of this week. And the showers and pretty unpleasant weather with those gusty winds will continue for locations between Rockhampton up to Cardwell and Cairns right through Friday and Saturday as well, finally easing off by the looks of things on Sunday. This rainfall here is a lot less intense than what we were talking about in yesterday's forecast update, but still it is going to amount to some decent rainfall accumulations, and along the time frame over a 6-day period between Wednesday and Sunday, we're going to see some very good rainfall accumulations start to pile on for the Queensland coastline, at least for this time of the year. So we're going to move from south right up to the north around the Harvey Bay area. We're going to see rainfall accumulations towards 100mm or so. I reckon this 150 is a little bit bullish, the majority of that coming from thunderstorms, however. And then Bundaberg expecting about 30 to 40mm of much needed rainfall. Agnes Water between 40 and 50mm. Rockhampton unfortunately just looks too far inland to receive proper good rainfall from this weather event here, so unfortunately only 20mm is on the cards, and even that might be a little bit bullish. Ogmore up towards 30mm. Mackay could see between 30 and 50mm. A lot still out there for the oceans to decide. I did think that 250mm on the forecast yesterday was a little bit bullish, and considering what the other forecast models are saying, I do still believe that 250mm is bullish. But the GFS going to town on this rainfall here, which leads me on to the next part. Bowen not receiving much rainfall, but for locations between Townsville and up towards Cairns, the rainfall is going to be quite volatile here. It could either be nothing or it could be a bucket load. Cairns is not going to get much rainfall from this weather event here either way. You kind of just the way that they are placed and the way these showers are going to be streaming ashore, you know the stuff here. Cairns isn't going to be receiving much of the rainfall across the central Queensland area. However, the GFS forecast model suggesting a bucket of rainfall across more interior parts, coastal parts of central to far northern Queensland. Between Ingham and Cardwell, accumulations towards 200mm, and that is consistent between yesterday's forecast as well. So this is something that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. Innisfail up to 120mm, and even on this forecast here, Cairns receiving 40mm. The unfortunate news here is that the Atherton Tablelands expecting negligible rainfall accumulations from this weather event here. But again, we will hope for the best up there. Certainly not much rainfall is expected, but all rainfall would be very welcome around the Atherton Tablelands area. For Ingham and Cardwell, we really just got to watch the forecast over the coming couple of days. It's an interesting one, and a lot of things can flop, flip, and change around this time of the year, and especially with the other forecast models being quite volatile with the amount of rainfall that they're expecting. I mean, the Eastern We're expecting just over 50 or 60mm through here, which is still good rainfall for this time of the year, but it's not the rainfall that the GFS is calling. I would class that as proper tropical rainfall. The Axis G3 also not calling for too much rainfall either, only about 100mm of the stuff, but the GFS still calling for that proper tropical rainfall that we're talking about yesterday. We will need to keep a close eye on this at this time. Definitely hope for the most amount of rainfall that we can get, especially considering some of these locations are looking very dry at this time. But yeah, if I was to put a number on this, for some of these locations, Townsville probably not going to receive more than 25 millimetres, and Ingham and Cardwell, I'd be surprised if on Thursday, Friday and Saturday they picked up more than 100 millimetres of rainfall. But again, it is possible. It's far north Queensland we are talking about here. Anything is possible in terms of maximum rainfall accumulations, as we all know. But yeah, you can see on the drought monitoring map, we do have moderate drought conditions now extending into the Atherton Tablelands. So this rainfall is much needed. It will be very welcome indeed across far northern Queensland. The Daintree not so much, they're still holding on to some good soil moisture values up there, but for far northern Queensland this rainfall is a necessity. It cannot come soon enough, that's for sure. Now here's something that's quite exciting. We're going to have to head well over into the Indian Ocean. This is of course no threat to land, but we do have a tropical cyclone right now. I don't believe this system has a name yet, and in fact I don't believe it has an official designation. It's really just spawned pretty much out of nowhere, but we did have a tropical low that we were looking at over the last couple of days developing nicely south of Seabreeze village at the Maldives in the North Indian Ocean, and this one here well out to sea from Australia. In fact, it's well out of the Australian area of responsibility, in fact by about 15 degrees, so it is no threat to land whatsoever. It's about 4,000 kilometres offshore from Exmouth in WA, so again absolutely no threat to land. But this system here has been slowly churning away over the last couple of days, and in fact over the past 24 hours it has rapidly intensified into a fully fledged tropical cyclone, probably of category 2 proportions on the Australian scale, and now rapidly intensifying towards category 3, potentially even category 4 status. And you can see on this forecast here, especially from the eastern, we have quite a bullish one, bringing it south into the southwest Indian Ocean, and then through tomorrow and then into Sunday the intensification continues before a little bit of weakening takes place on Sunday. Conditions still looking pretty unfavourable at this time of the year for tropical cyclone genesis, but yeah, could reach a peak intensity of category 3 status on the Australian scale and then head towards Mauritius and Madagascar, so we will keep a close eye on things. Certainly an interesting system, and certainly something we will keep close tabs on over the coming couple of days. So let me know if you're interested in looking at cyclones in the Indian Ocean that aren't necessarily impacting Australia, because I'd be more than happy to cover them in sequels in these videos. And just before we round things up for today's forecast update, I would like to talk about some tropical weather happening across parts of the Northern Territory and then in WA. Of course, no surprises that we're seeing tropical weather at this time of the year, but the rainfall really beginning to pile on for locations across the Northern Territory. Evening thunderstorms really prevalent now. We're seeing morning and evening thunderstorms throwing themselves around in the Northern Territory and also parts of WA as well. And as you can see as I'm playing this through, the Kimberley region and parts of the Pilbara region expected to be really stormy across WA right through this week and even into next weekend. We're expecting these showers and storms to be super consistent. I mean, this is peak wet season type stuff here, not November stuff. It was going to be a wild start to the wet season, but these thunderstorms really making themselves at home. In fact, across central parts of WA, we are not expecting a 6-hour period without thunderstorms over the next 10 days, at least for the Pilbara and the Kimberley region. Those showers and storms also extending further south into the Gascoyne and the Murchison, the showers and storms being very prevalent there over the next 10 days as well. And you can see it on the rainfall accumulation. They really are quite extreme for this time of the year across parts of WA. In fact, outside of Telfer, we're expecting peak rainfall accumulations of towards 130 millimetres over the next 10 days, and widespread falls between 80 and 120 millimetres also look possible. And then further north up into the Kimberley region, Fitzroy Crossing expecting between 80 and 100 millimetres, and some great falls expected across much of the Kimberley region. Much needed rainfall as well, might I add, but again, this is some serious falls that they're now really starting to report here, and flooding is beginning to look likely. So by next weekend, if you are planning a trip around the interior parts of Western Australia, I'm not sure why you'd be doing that at this time of the year, because it is stifling hot as well, and this humidity is just going to keep things unbearable across interior parts of WA. But you're going to have to deal with road closures, slushy gravel roads, puddles everywhere, rivers flowing and possibly flooding as well. So interior parts of WA, especially those highlighted in the aqua right now, do look to be kind of off limits from about Wednesday or Thursday onwards, when those storms really do set in. That's just a heads up there. Of course, make sure you keep checking and keeping on top of main roads, but it does look like roads are going to begin to be cut off for periods of time, extended periods of time from around Wednesday onwards, and then writing off conditions up in the Kimberley region. I reckon a lot of roads are going to be closed pretty much from Wednesday or Thursday onwards, at least for the wet season. So conditions really starting to get quite damp up there, and the roads are beginning to get quite soggy on some of this rainfall. And then into the southern parts of WA as well, some very good falls expected over the next 10 days. days, Kalgoorlie expecting up towards 40 millimetres of rainfall, and even parts of the eastern wheat belt, some great rainfall accumulations out towards Southern Cross and Merredin expected, and across much of WA, just in general, across the southwest, accumulations between 5 and 25 millimetres also look possible, especially from showers and storms piping up from Tuesday and Wednesday. Looks like we're going to have to combat some pretty showery and stormy weather from then as we head into our summer. Yeah, showers are pretty prevalent across Tuesday and then into Wednesday morning as well, especially across interior parts of WA. Showers and storms continuing through Thursday before being swept off by a low pressure system on Thursday and Friday, and the return to the cool, calmer, dry conditions that we've known for the last 6 months across parts of WA through Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and then onwards from that. Those showers and storms, though, making themselves at home in interior parts of Australia, as we have just tracked. Now, in terms of temperatures as well, this is the last part of this video, by the way. Very warm still across interior parts of Queensland and even into the Cape York Peninsula. It's going to get stifling over the coming couple of days with temperatures and high humidity values. Temperatures expected to exceed 40 degrees Celsius on multiple days from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday, with humidity values up above 40%. So the feels like temperatures are going to be awful up there. I mean, you can see here outside of some of the indigenous communities, temperatures up towards 40 degrees and humidity values between 30 and 40%. I mean, we're talking about a feels like temperature approaching 45 or 46 here. It's going to be sticky. It's going to be awful up there. So certainly not going to be pleasant at all. Julia Creek still expected to continue its run of temperatures above 38 degrees Celsius. In fact, it's looking like the whole month at this rate is going to be above 38 degrees for Julia Creek. Maybe things cooling off into the into the later parts of next week, but still things remaining very hot across interior parts of Queensland, and also very hot across interior parts of the Northern Territory. Stock standard weather for this time of year, but still uncomfortable for some people. Anyways, that is all that I have time for today. Thank you so much for watching the video to this point. The support has been much appreciated. Showers and storms have been prevalent across southeastern Queensland, and they are looking to be prevalent across the next couple of days as well. If you are brand new to the channel, please consider subscribing. A special shout out as well to the channel sponsors. Their names are on screen right now, and I could not run their show without them. So again, their support is much appreciated. But that is all from me today, and I will catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.